D Heirloom Seeds 2014 spring update video is out, and the first thing we want to show you in this video is our cabbage plants here. As you can see, we planted them about 2 months ago in early March, and they're starting to form little heads there, and so these are the things that in about 1 month we will be picking and harvesting our cabbages. And so that's one of the first things in the spring update video that we're showing you, because these were the first things we planted. Another thing here is our lettuce bed. Our lettuce plants are doing very good. As you can see, there's almost no space for anything, which is a very good sign because we've been picking lettuce abundantly. Over here is our spinach, and there's some kale, which will actually be a new variety in the 2014 catalog this fall. It's called Vate's Kale, so be looking forward to that. Another thing, as you can see right behind all the salad, is our Swiss chard plants, which stand about 3 or 4 feet tall right here. And as you can see, they are making little buds of flowers, and so when they flower and then the flowers die and produce the seeds, that's what we will be collecting for our website. Another thing to do with collecting seeds, as you can see, this is a collard plant that we overwintered through the winter so that in the spring it flowers. And so you can see there's still some flowers, there's still some buds, but here, as you can see right here, is the pod, and that's green right now, but it will turn brown as it matures. And once it turns brown and the plant dies, we pull it up and collect the seeds out of those pods. Actually, if you can see here, so I broke open the seed pod, and if you can see right there is a immature collard seed. So right now, if you collected that and let it dry, it would not sprout, but that is what there's going to be about 12 seeds in this pod that I broke open, each pod on the plant. So that's another thing that's really amazing, that we're able to just collect our seeds like this. It's very easy, and a lot of people can do it. So another thing that we will be showing you in this video, which is about time to do right now, is how to plant a tomato plant. This is something that you need to know, obviously, if you're going to grow a garden. And these rules apply for things like eggplants, peppers, and various other vegetables and fruits too. So if you want to finish watching the video, that'll be towards the end of the video how to do that. But if we want to just go right over here, you can see these beautiful irises we have who are just blooming, and they just add some beauty to your garden. You're going to have all this stuff, and it's really nice to just have some flowers while you're gardening. You look at this flower and see some amazing beauty. And so another thing right here, which is about time to start planting right now, is okra seeds. So we have okra seeds in this flat. It might be a tiny bit too late, but that's fine. You can still order the seeds and plant them, because we've just planted them actually this morning. So that's another thing that you can still plant right now. You can plant most vegetables and fruits. Just remember that. Right now is about the time to order your seeds for your summer garden. So if you can see here, we've already got quite a few tomato plants planted. In this section of our garden, we have 39 right now. We'll be planting many more. But if you can see here, we have got paper and or clippings. You can use straw or hay. Just make sure if you do use lawnmower clippings that there's not any sprays or chemicals on them, like weed killers or Roundup or anything like that, because that will affect the plants. But these lawnmower clippings come from our yards, which we do not treat. But if you treat your yard, make sure that you use something else like straw or hay, because that will definitely affect the growth of the tomato plant, and it could even kill it. Things that are too late to plant right now, but they are coming up, and we're very grateful for that, are potatoes. As you can see here, we have a row of potatoes down there pretty far, and we have another like 150-foot row or something like that down at a different garden. But these potatoes are just starting to come up, and over here we do have some volunteer potato plants which came up from last year, and they could actually, in this spot of the garden, they always come up and they produce so much. It's one potato plant, and every year they volunteer. They come up by themselves, so we don't even plant them, and they are very healthy. As you can see, the ones I showed you up there were sprouted at the same time, and these things have grown 3 times quicker, which is very amazing. And as you can see on these potatoes, well, are those little black bugs. They're kind of hard to see. Those are the flea beetles. They affect tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, various fruits and vegetables, and if you can just try to pick them off, you can get organic sprays or sprays for them. That will really help because your potatoes won't be too happy like that. So it is too late to plant potatoes, but it's just really exciting to see these super healthy plants. Another thing that you can plant in early spring or late fall is strawberry plants. See, we've got these strawberry plants planted here, and then we've got this landscaping fabric which keeps out the weeds and the slugs so that they don't get on our strawberries. So as you can see here, we have a lot of strawberries on all the plants. Our strawberries are ripening and they're almost ready, which is really exciting. Another thing that's just a reminder to you, I've already said in this video, it's definitely not too late to plant tomato plants or things like that, because as you can see right here, these are volunteer tomato plants. They're from rotten or old fruit that have fallen last year. You can see there. So they come from rotten or old fruit that have fallen last year or from your compost that you put in your garden. And these tomato plants know exactly when to come up. It's surprising. Every single time that we've planted our tomatoes, before these things come up, there's always a frost, and our tomato plants either have to be covered or they die. So these things know exactly when to come up, and as you can see, they're really little right now, so it's not too late to even plant some types of tomato seeds. On our website, if you go and you see a variety like Moscovich or Bloody Butcher, something like that is a very early maturing tomato, and you can still plant those seeds right now and get a huge crop out of them. So these tomato plants know when to come up, and they have never been wrong. So just keep that into mind. It's not too late to plant tomatoes or a lot of your seeds from your summer garden. So it's cool how you don't have to plant tomato plants and they just come up and tell you when to plant them. So that's how some people go by the almanac. We go by when our volunteers come up. That's when we plant our tomato plants. Another thing that you can do at any time of the year is plant a herb garden. This herb garden, as you can see right here, is really, really, really overgrown, but it's all by herbs. So you can see right there we have some lemon balm, and there we have mint, and there we have spearmint and stuff like that. But this herb garden, we can just go and pick fresh herbs almost all year long. In the winter, it usually dies off, but it's deep into the winter that we still have fresh herbs, and then you can also dry them. So remember, it's never too late to plant any types of herbs for a perennial or annual herb garden like this. So now we're coming towards the end of the video, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to show you how to plant a tomato plant into the ground. So this is the spot I've picked to plant the tomato plant. It's not that big place, but because of lack of space, this is where we're going to plant our tomato plants. So if you've not seen on our website how to plant pepper seeds indoors from scratch, you can see that on our website or YouTube channel, and that shows you how to plant the seeds. The same rules do require for the tomato plants. So here I've gotten 2 tomato plants, a yellow cherry tomato plant, and a black zebra tomato plant. So I will show you the steps and the materials you will need for planting. So here are the materials. This is optional, but I got some really good quality compost, which we made ourselves. It's very easy. All you have to do is get some table scraps, put them in a pile with some grass clippings, and maybe a little bit of dirt to start off with so that you could get some worms in there, and then just wait a while and you have some really nice black compost. So that's optional, but we find it very helpful if you're planting a small scale of tomatoes between like 10 and 50. Like a smaller scale, to use that. Then you're going to need a ruler, a small shovel, some paper, which can be newspaper, any type of paper, grass clippings, and remember, like I said in the earlier on in this video, that you cannot use any medicated grass clippings. So like if your lawn has sprays on it, I would not recommend using the grass clippings from that. Then you will need some water and your tomato plants, and oh yes, lastly you will also need just a spade, or if you have a tiller or something like that, just to dig up your garden. So let's get to it. The first step is to dig up your garden and remove it from any weeds, like I'm going to do right now. So, as you can see, I've dug up this small space which we will only be planting 2 tomato plants in today. We will be planting many other tomato plants, and you've seen already earlier in the video our 39 that we've planted in a different part of our garden. So, one thing I forgot to mention is make sure you plant your tomato plants in full sun, because they will need full sun to grow properly and healthy. And so, you can see I've dug this place up, and now I'll show you the second step. So the second step to planting your tomato plants in the ground, you can also probably apply the same rules if you're planting raised beds or large pots. So you will get your shovel and you will just dig a hole about 4 to 6 inches deep. So now I have dug my hole about 5 inches deep, and make sure also that your tomato plants are at least 2 feet away from any other plants. Like here we have our strawberries, so I'm planting it at least 2 feet away from our strawberries so it doesn't overshade it, and maybe that a little bit farther is good if you have enough space. With the amount of stuff we plant, we have a lack of space, and so that's why I'm planting it a little bit closer than that. So the next step is to get your tomato plant and soak it in water for a little bit. We do this just because so it can get really waterlogged, and so when you plant it, it doesn't wilt too much. So just let it soak in there for a few seconds and pour your compost in the hole. Make sure your compost is almost filling the hole, and then so you put it in there, flatten it out a little bit, and then you go ahead and grab your tomato plant that has been soaking in the water for a while. So now you are going to go ahead and take your name tag out of the pot and just lightly pull the tomato plant from the pot. You might have to squeeze it a little bit just to get all the roots out. So now, since it's out of the pot and you can see that fabulous root system, you're going to break the root system up a little bit at the bottom just so that the roots can go into the ground and they don't stay in that big root ball. And then you're just going to go ahead and put your tomato plant in the soil, like that. And then just start covering it up with dirt. So now, as you can see, I've covered my tomato roots up with dirt, and I have also put a bamboo stake, which you can use any long other tall stick like this that's pretty straight. And I've just put my tomato plant up against it because this tomato plant was very tall, and once they get taller like that, they will start to lean over a little bit because of their weight of the plant. So, and they can't hold it all up. So now that is basically how you plant your tomato plant. So what I've done now is put the paper around the tomato plants, and I'm just going to start getting the clippings, just holds it down a little bit more. So the last thing you need to do once you have put the lawnmower clippings and the paper around your tomato plants is get your water and just water the tomato plant a lot, because this tomato plant is very thirsty, and since he has just gone into the ground and his roots have been broken up, he's going to need a lot of water. So just water him a lot. And so that's the tomato plant he's going to grow, and in our summer or fall update video, I will show tomatoes in this tomato plant, how good he will look, or she, later on in the summer. So I'm not going to plant the second tomato plant, but when you are planting large scale or a few tomato plants, the spacing that we do is 18 inches apart between the plants, and between the rows 2 to 3 feet apart between the rows of the tomatoes. So thank you for watching this spring update video, and I hope you liked it. I hope you learned some stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you for watching, and be looking for other videos from our YouTube channel, and if you want to subscribe so you can get an update when they come out. We will probably be having one a little bit later on in the summer, either a how-to video or a spring update, a summer update video.